Today I'm going to show you how you can fill in your brows using 3 different products and the effects that these are going to give. I'm going to be using a pencil, a powder and a gel. To start with, I'm going to show you my everyday brow product, which is my Brow Wiz by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is in the shade medium brown. My natural brow colour is an ashy brown, and this pencil is a nice ash colour, but on camera it does tend to come out a little bit warm. So I like to start at the front of my brow and I draw a line at the very base of it. Because it's quite sparse in this area, I like to fill it in ever so slightly, and I just do a few strokes going up from the bottom to the top, mimicking hairlines. I think brows need to look very, very natural. I'm not big on carving out the brows and stuff like that. I think it's nice to keep them as natural as possible. But for those of you who like that, I will go and show you a fuller brow using the gel product at the end. So I'm working my way up the base of the brow using the edge of my pencil, and I'm just using very light strokes to do this. I like to fill in the brow as I go along, so once I've done a little bit of the base, I like to flick the pencil upwards, mimicking more hairlines. And then once we get to the top of the brow, I like to do the same as we've done with the bottom half and draw a line, just so we're getting a nice shape to the eyebrow. And the great thing about these Brow Wiz pencils is that there's actually a spoolie brush on the opposite side. So what I like to do, as I'm penciling in, I like to turn the brush over and then soften those lines with the spoolie. So I'm filling in from the front of the brow to the middle of the brow first, working my way along towards the outer half of the brow. So I'm not overdrawing or exaggerating the shape of my natural eyebrows, I'm filling in the shape that is there, but obviously making them look darker, which in essence makes them look fuller. And I'm all about more of a natural brow as opposed to something that doesn't look very natural. I have filled them in a little bit darker for camera because you can see the lighting changes a little bit, so one minute it looks really light and the next minute it looks really dark. Now as I get to the outer corner, again I'm following the natural shape of my brow and I'm going running a nice curve. A lot of people have a bit more of a point to their eyebrow, and that's fine, you just need to follow your natural shape. So mine's curved, if yours is pointy then follow that. Now as you can see here on the tail of my brow, I've got a little sparse section on this particular eyebrow. I had them threaded the other day and when I looked in the mirror she'd taken too much off one side. Now it does happen now and again, but it doesn't matter because hair grows. So I extend the towel right down to where the hair stops and just fill it in ever so slightly just so it looks a little bit fuller at that outer edge, and then I just go over it with the spoolie again. So I filled my eyebrows in at a really slow pace because I knew I had loads to talk about, so I've done it quite slow, but it's actually a really fast process. So this is my go-to brow routine on a daily basis. I use my Anastasia Brow Wiz in medium brown for me, and I just fill them in from the front to the end. So with using the pencil you can see we've still got the nice natural lightness at the front of the brow, which it should look like because there's less hair there, but it's a very natural appearance. So here's a little before and after so you can see the difference. So moving on, I'm going to show you how to fill in the brow using a brow powder, and this one is also by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is a brow duo, and I think the shade of this one is medium ash. And the brush I'm using is a sable angled liner by Crown Brush. Now the effect you get with eyeshadow is very similar to the pencil, but it's a softer finish, and it also gives you a fuller finish. So with the pencil you can make hair stroke marks. With the powder you're actually filling in the entire skin surface that lays beneath the hair, thereby making your entire eyebrow look a lot fuller. The eyebrow pencil itself is quite waxy, so wherever you put the hair marks, they stay in place even when you soften them with the spoolie, whereas with the powder it's all very soft, so when you go over it with the spoolie it almost just leaves the shadow appearance to your eyebrow as opposed to the hair marks. If you're new to filling in your eyebrows, you'll probably find you get on a little bit better with the powder than you will the pencil. I personally prefer the look of the pencil on myself, but then I'm also used to the pressure that's needed to apply on my eyebrows to get that nice natural appearance. What's great about the brow powder duos is that you can use the lightest shade at the front of your eyebrow, mix the two together for the middle of your eyebrow, and then just use the darkest shade towards the outer half of your eyebrow when extending the tail. And because it doesn't leave a harsh finish, you'll get a nice natural gradient all the way from the front of your brow to the very end. For the tutorial I used a medium brown powder, but usually I would use an ash blonde on my eyebrows. Now we've finished applying the powder, I'm going back in with a spoolie brush, and this is just going to make sure there's an even finish all the way from the front to the very end. And this is how I achieve a natural appearance using a brow powder. And as you can see, here is the before and after. And this last look is for those of you who prefer a much fuller brow. I'm using the MakeUp Forever Aqua Brow, and this is like a creamy gel consistency, and the shade I'm using is number 25 Ash. And to apply it, I'm using this angled brush by Illamasqua. As with all my brow looks, I always start at the very base at the front and I drag a line upwards. Now as this is a gel, we've got a little bit of working time with this. As it goes on, I like to pull the colour up, so we're blending it as we go. And as this is the lightest part of the brow, this is going to be where the least amount of colour is. But the strongest part of this area is going to be the base. So we're going to come back to that front section in a minute. So we're going to carry on lining the base through the middle part of the brow, and then we're going to do the top ever so slightly, and then we've got a guide to work between filling in that middle section. With what product is left on the bristles, we're going to turn our brush on its side and drag the bristles upwards so we can mimic hairlines. As a makeup artist, I prefer to see a nice filled in natural looking brow, so we still want to use brush strokes even though we're going for a fuller appearance to our brows. So dipping our brush into a little bit more product, we're going to continue to line the base and shape the arch of the brow. I'm using small brush strokes to extend the tail of my eyebrow, and this is going to make it look like small hair marks. Now remember, you want to fill out this area using your natural brow shape. You're just going to be enhancing what you've already got there. If you don't have any hair on the end of your eyebrows and you're going to just be drawing them in, then make sure you follow this guide. The beginning section of your brow should start in line with the outer half of your nose. Then if you were to draw an invisible line from the outer corner of your nose to the outer corner of your iris and extend that to the brow, that is where your arch should be. And lastly, if you drew an invisible line from the outer corner of your nose to the outer corner of your eye and extended that to the brow, that is where the tail of your eyebrow should end. So I'm just finishing off with a few more hair strokes just through the end. Then to give this a real clean defined appearance, we're going to take an angled brush and some creamy concealer. This one is by Soap and Glory. And we're going to apply that along the edge of where we've applied the Aqua brow gel. So if you hadn't already managed to get a crisp line when applying the product, then the concealer is going to help you to do this by cleaning it up. It's also going to cover any imperfections or uneven skin tone underneath the eyebrow area, so making it look more flawless. It's also going to highlight our brow bone. So you just want to use your brush in small strokes just to blend that line. You don't want to totally blend it away, as that's what's given us that nice crisp clear appearance to the bottom of the brow. It's up to you, but you may also want to take a little bit of that concealer across the top as well, just to clean up and make it look a little bit more crisp. And this is my version of a more full-on filled in brow. This is something I would do maybe for a night out, or if it was for a photo shoot where the brows needed to be a little bit more intense. So here's the before and after. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the full-on carved out brows. If you like that look, then you wear that look. It's just that I'm a makeup artist and I prefer the more natural looking brow. So I hope that's been useful. If you've got any questions, please leave them in the comments section below. If you missed my previous tutorial on 6 different eyeliner looks or how to apply false eyelashes, then you can click on either of these now and it will take you to those. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.